and welcome to another 60 minutes of unscripted dotnet entertainment. Our mission is to empower the dotnet community to achieve more. I'm your host, Maira Wenzel, with my co-host David Pine, and
Hello.
maybe Scott will show up later. We're having technical difficulties this morning, and let me tell you, it's been chaotic. But I'm happy we made it, and we have today, and I didn't ask how to pronounce, so hopefully I won't screw it up. Atanas Korchev, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, that's about right. That's how we pronounce my name. So I'm Atanas Korchev, and I have been playing with .NET technologies for the last 20 years. And I have spent most of the time working with the UI stack and making components UI stuff. So that's mostly what I'm going to present here now today.
Yeah, so I understand you're gonna be talking about Radzen.Blazor. So I feel
Yes.
like when we talk Blazor, everybody gets excited. So do you want to give a quick intro about what the project is? And
Yes, sure. I think it was in 2018 when we first heard of Blazor, and it was just a work in progress back then. And we decided that something was missing at the moment. There wasn't a big open source UI component library, and we needed it for our own commercial product. So we decided, why not we just make one? We've been doing it for almost 15 to 20 years now, so why not do it once again? We created the component library, and 1 year later we made it open source. And I think we are by now it's very well used and quite popular, I would say. And we have users from all around the world, all kinds of industries. We have also lots of community contributions, which is what open source is all about. And maybe that's the gist of it.
all right.
We have, yeah?
No, go ahead.
Well, I can show, maybe I can share my screen right now to...
Yeah, why don't you share your screen? And I know everyone that watches is usually really excited about Blazor. So as I understand it, and allow me to summarize, you have an open source project that is essentially a component library for Blazor. So,
Yep.
And you've said you've been receiving community contributions. And how long again has this been available?
We made it open source, I think, in 2020, if not, I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
But we started publishing versions on NuGet from the very beginning. I think it was in 2018, or it was awesome. Blazor was not even official yet.
Perfect.
And
is there a team working on this library?
Yeah, we are 3 of us. At the moment, it's only 2 people. The third one, we have a UI designer on board, which is why everything looks so fresh and beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to see what kind of components you have and what they look like.
Yeah, I want to see if sharing works. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, let's.
Yep. There it is.
There it is. Okay.
So,
oh, this is gorgeous.
So what you see here is the Material 3 theme. We also have Fluent UI and a few others. This is our flagship component. This is the data grid. Probably most of the data-driven applications have one, and this is for sure the most commonly used component from our library. And recently we released a very important feature, which is accessibility features. For example, we have high contrast variant of the theme, which can be seen here. It's a subtle change which improves the contrast for users that need it. We also introduced keyboard navigation, lots of other stuff.
So it looks like it's packed with features. Like I mean, whenever you look at a data grid, for example, just understanding like the mechanics of all the different pieces behind to actually make this, fully functional. It seemed as though you've got filtering, you've got column width, on the client side, so you can adjust that. You've got paging.
Yes, we have
you got
all
everything.
The stuff. Yeah, you have pretty much most of the stuff data grid needs to have nowadays. Yeah. It's a very complex component, and as I said, probably the most commonly used one. There's a lot of other stuff as well. There's form stuff. There's some commonly used features like things you commonly need in your web app for styling text, for example, forms. Let me find the forms.
And this screen that you're sharing, this is actually the website for your Razor?
Yes, this is
awesome.
Yes, this is the demonstration website, which features every component. It is also sort of documentation. People can even edit the source code of the demo and play with it live. So it's let me try to change something.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty much a standard. It's a given these days. You can play with code on live, so you can see what the features are. Try and experiment. That's the form. We also have chart components. Mostly the stuff that you're commonly using in your data-driven applications for creating dashboards and stuff. All kinds of components. You said it's quite packed up. We have more than 75 now, I think, components.
Wow.
And a very nice thing to being open source is that a lot of the new features and a lot of the stuff you see have been contributed by outside people that are not from our organization, from the community, and that was great.
That's awesome.
And someone was asking if Blazor is official, and so just to clarify, Blazor is official, but what this project does is complement Blazor, because one thing that it doesn't have is the component library, right? So there's like, if you have data applications and things like that, then you have to connect and show your data or things like that. It just makes it easy for you to make Blazor apps by adding these visual components and forms and everything that makes it easier to author your Blazor apps, right?
Absolutely.
And we also provide, as you see, a complete styling of the application, so you can quickly get it up to speed. You wouldn't need finding the visual look and feel of your app if some of the existing theme is matching your requirements. Just pick it up and get into development without the need of trying to find a theme or fiddling with CSS and other stuff, which is, let's be honest, this is not the most inspiring thing to do, fiddling with CSS and the other stuff, browser issues and whatnot.
We do have a question here from Get Your Second Home on YouTube. They're asking, where can one get the benchmark for these components? So I'm assuming they're asking about some of like the rendering speed or loading speed and
this website.
Like benchmarks specifically.
What kind of benchmarks? Performance benchmarks, or
I
I'm not sure I
imagine.
understand.
Yeah, I'd imagine performance benchmarks. Yeah.
I don't think we have any at the moment. Maybe we have. I think there is the demo showing performance of the data grid with data bound to a lot of items.
Okay. Yeah, they specify
I'm not
memory
sure.
and
I'm not
speed.
sure. Yeah, that's probably it. The performance demo of the data grid, because that's the most data intensive component. That's going to be most commonly used with a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
It also supports virtualization, which means that you can also use a lot of items and just everything is done automatically.
It seems
A
very
lot of items can be
responsive,
presented at a time.
especially
Yeah, it's
considering.
pretty responsive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I know
By
that
the
one
way,
of our. Go ahead.
this whole website is available on so people can just download it and play with it locally. It's here in the GitHub repo where the rest of the source code is, and it's here. It can be downloaded by everyone and tested.
Yeah, one of our viewers is specifically asking for a data grid that supports 300 columns.
Who would read such a grid?
Well, you would be surprised, but we've seen such requirements, and
Really?
they're not that uncommon. People
Oh my
usually use
God.
those grids like as some sort of a front end of some database table, and they just present all the components. And usually there is some UI for just picking just the components that you need, like this. You can hide and show components that you need.
There's an all option. That's perfect. That's literally what Fuel's Novel
I'm
was
not
saying.
quite sure how well a data grid with 300 columns would perform, but it depends. Maybe it won't be that bad.
Yeah, interesting.
And this is like free to use. All the components are like
Yes,
open
all the
source.
components are free and open source. The thing that is not free are a few themes that we have, the so-called premium themes.
Okay.
They are just the users can check them out as a preview here, and we have those themes are part of a premium option that we have a part of our paid product, which is also Blazor related. I think over there at Radzen.Blazor Studio, but there are plenty of free themes that for Ethereal UI theme, which is free, that can be used free of charge, customized, and without any limitations. So yes, to answer the question, simply those components are free to use for commercial applications without any obligations. And come with the complete source code, which is in GitHub. And they're licensed with the MIT open source license.
Awesome. This is great. We do have some more questions coming in. One of our viewers on X is asking for the GitHub repo link. I just shared that there.
Yes, that's the link.
Perfect. And then we've got someone asking, so like, could they combine these Blazor components with JavaScript framework components like data tables, jQuery, or Bootstrap?
Yes, you can. By the way, this website that you see is using Bootstrap at the moment for some of the layout stuff. So even this is the Blazor website that you see is using Bootstrap. But yes, we've seen a lot of people use mix and match various existing JavaScript solutions with Blazor. And Blazor is designed in such a way that it doesn't interfere with those libraries, so you can just pick up everything you want.
Absolutely. And then there's also another question here. Any chance of a candle chart in the future?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Probably,
So
but we don't have. Yeah.
I was going to say, you mentioned it's open source, so I would assume one of the common models is, post an issue proposing that type of functionality and work with the current maintainers and, perhaps work on it.
Yes, to be honest, a few of the newer chart types have been contributed by the open source community, so why not? We definitely accept pull requests, and that's how quite a lot of the new stuff comes into life.
And someone is asking about keyboard navigation and what is data GF? I don't know what.
Data GF, maybe, I don't know, data grid.
Yeah.
Keyboard navigation was a recent addition, maybe 1 month ago, added to all of the components. There is a accessibility page here, which discusses most of the stuff. And there is a keyboard navigation section at the bottom of the components pages that show what supported. Here is for the data grid,
I
for
love
example.
that. That's awesome. That's great.
It shows what the supported keyboard shortcuts are and how to navigate in the component.
This is very well done, very well thought out, beautiful, beautiful design. I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
We do have another question here. Actually, lots of questions, so keep them coming. We love it when our viewers are engaged this much. So they're asking, how long would bug resolution take? Like if they find a bug and they put it out there,
Well, it depends on the bug actually, but we try to make it to act very quickly. We also make releases sometimes daily. So usually we respond very quickly, depending on the severity of the bug, on the reproducibility of the bug. For example, if there is a clear reproduction with some sample code or something that we can start immediately looking at, we usually respond very quickly, provided that we can fix the bug as well. Sometimes bugs are there are some very hard to fix. For example, if they're hard and require a lot of changes, sometimes we can just refuse fixing a bug, but that happens very rarely. Usually we respond within 1 day at most.
Awesome. That's great. And then someone's asking very specifically for something that we haven't talked about yet, and I'm assuming you were going to at some point. So can you show us how to make a new project in the Radzen studio?
I wasn't.
You weren't?
Honestly, I'm not prepared for presenting it at the moment.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if I can share it outside of the browser, considering the source that we use.
Sure.
I think there's a lot of videos that I think probably there is a video here. Everyone can just click here, see it in action, and see how this thing works.
Okay.
So you have a specific IDE to help you build this. The app.
Yes, we have this. This thing right here at the bottom is our commercial offering. This is the thing that is what my company is making the business of. It is an IDE that it's data-driven Blazor applications, and the applications are powered by these UIs that I have been presenting so far. And a key feature of this product is that it shows visually what the application looks like even before building it. It supports what you see is what you get. Visual Designer for Blazor apps, which is probably its unique feature. And maybe to avoid just launching a video, everyone can just see in action button and check the video. It shows how to create an application in Radzen Studio.
I did share the link to the studio itself, and as mentioned here on our YouTube, one of our viewers mentioned that the community edition is free. And to echo,
yes, it is a paid product. Yes, it has the trial version. After the trial ends, it downgrades to a community version, which has a few of the features disabled.
Okay. And what you see is what you get, just so everyone knows. That's like basically a designer that lets you, drag and drop.
Yes.
Awesome.
I can probably show. I'm not sure if I can share anything outside of the browser right now.
Yeah, you can. I think you have
to. Do you think I can?
If you just share that app, you might have to stop sharing and share again. A different window or a different app, depending on how you want to
try.
Yeah.
Let me try.
And while you're setting up, Dev Manuel was asking, does Radzen have LTS versions? Like, what is the support period per version?
Support period. We don't have LTS versions. We try to be evergreen, which means that we believe people should use the latest version always. And supporting an LTS is a bit time consuming, and we try to do what's the least amount of effort for us support. So we don't have LTS at the moment, but we try to fix stuff as soon as possible and make releases very often to NuGet, so there's never stale bugs or stuff like that. I don't think I would be able to easily share screen outside of the browser because I'm not sure I can manage at the moment, unfortunately.
I think if you open up a separate tab, you said it's browser based?
I think I can now. No, it's not browser based, and I think no, I don't think I would manage to do that.
Because it usually lets you either share a tab from
It's not a browser-based solution, so I think that's why I can't share it. Okay. It's a desktop app, so it's an external program. It's not in my browser. It's not in Chrome, so I don't think I can share a screen at the moment.
No worries. Like we've mentioned before, we dropped the link to the studio in there, and there's already some YouTube assets that share demos of it. So that's fantastic. So let's keep the questions coming.
Thank you.
You want to share your browser again, and maybe like I saw that on your GitHub you have some demos, so maybe you can share like how it looks in the code there.
You mean this thing?
Oh, here we go.
Just the. I don't know. I saw that your Radzen.Blazor repo has some demos, so I don't know if that's something that is worth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here is the GitHub repo, and the demos that are here is the thing that I've shown on the other browser, which is the Blazor.Radzen.com.
Okay,
that's
so
the actual
the website.
of it.
So this is the source code behind what we were just looking at rendered on the browser.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. So
and the actual source code of the components is here as well.
Mm-hmm.
For example, here is Radzen data grid. And if someone wants, they can just clone the repo and play with the source code fix a bug or implement a feature.
So yeah, I guess what's the future of this project? And knowing that like things just recently changed with .NET 8 and Blazor has these rendering model or different rendering modes.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that would impact a repository like this quite a bit. No, maybe.
Yes, it impacts the UI stuff quite a bit, and we have to do some stuff on the technical side to support the rendering modes, which we did. There are some extra configuration that has to be made to make things work as expected. We also plan to add deeper support for the new Blazor static rendering modes at some point, which is making some components work without the need for interactivity enabled, mainly the form components. And we also plan always release new stuff in the forms of new features, new components. Somebody earlier requested new chart type. New chart types are also on the roadmap, also stuff that we regularly do. And of course, we also, a big new thing that we plan this year is to support most of the feature of our premium product in Visual Studio itself in the form of a Visual Studio. So the whole design time stuff, the drag and drop toolbox, visual development to be available in Visual Studio Professional without the need for a third-party solution as our existing product.
That would be game changing.
This is,
it's like bringing back the designer that existed for like web forms and
the
wind
designer,
forms. So many.
Yes.
That's crazy.
The good old times.
Yeah, the good old times. It seems that people like those times and don't mind having a designer for UI development. And we plan to fill this gap with our new product, which is in the works at the moment. So that's
Please go ahead.
Can you repeat your question?
No, they were asking if components have
a loading effect. Yes, they do. I don't think you see it.
Oh, like yeah,
so it's just like a simple progress indicator, and okay.
Yeah, that's the built-in one, but you can implement a custom one, maybe like the one here. This is an example which fetches GitHub issues from the ASP.NET GitHub repository and makes a small dashboard out of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Steve Sanderson is quite active.
Yeah.
As one can imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are ways to implement loading indicators. There's progress controls.
And do you have a roadmap of what's to come? Like what's in the project pipeline?
Yes, we do. And it's mostly about our commercial products, but we have a public roadmap and we're very open to user feedback.
Is that in the repo as well?
Yes, it's in the repo and people to log issues in the repo. And they can request stuff and it gets prioritized.
Awesome.
Do you want to show like because the demos was showing how you built this pages, so is it interesting for us to look at some of those and how like the implementation is on for like a page like this
For a demo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I'd be curious, like, like what's all required? Like, say I do, well, one, the two-part question to expand
Yeah.
upon what Myra was saying. So if you have like file new project, do you guys provide any templates?
The template is a commercial product.
Okay,
Mhm.
This is
okay, sure.
it creates ready-to-use applications, and for
Okay,
people that just use Visual Studio, we
Mhm.
have some nice getting started instructions.
okay,
There is also a video which
perfect.
shows how to download the library
new
from NuGet. Yes,
Okay,
and how to include it as a theme, a CSS file, the JavaScript, and how to use a component. It's a few
so
steps process.
is there not any wiring up of services? So if you install and then you reference the CSS and JavaScript, I'd assume you'd have to be touching program CS at some point to say add services, or no?
Yes, there are a few of the components have some services
Okay,
required. For
perfect.
example, the dialog and a few of
Sure, yeah.
notification. There
Okay.
is a single method that can be used to register all the services.
Okay, perfect.
It's this one.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. And then once you
and I see there after .NET 6, and I saw in the code there was some conditionals about .NET 5 or later. Is that some like do you just follow what the .NET team follows in terms of supporting versions, or like what is your
Yes,
support version for
yes.
.NET?
We at the moment we support a few older versions that are probably out of support by Microsoft, and we plan to drop support with the next major update of our library. For example, .NET 3 and .NET 5, we're going to drop support for those in maybe a few months' time. We generally try to support only the versions that Microsoft provides official support for. So that's why, for example, we don't support .NET Core 1 or 2, and we'll drop support for 3 and 5 very soon.
Okay.
In general, we try to support every new version that appears for maybe not as early as at release candidate level. We usually wait for Microsoft to ship an official version, and then we release support for it. If it is, I mean, if we can do it in a quick way, we just ship it as soon as possible. It depends usually. For example, with .NET 8, there were a few changes related to the new rendering modes, as you mentioned, and we needed to make some research and see how to support those new modes. But at the end of the day, we managed to do that very quickly, and we were ready. Basically, with the release of .NET 8, we had a version ready with our library supporting it.
And was that like the day of .NET 8, or is that like a little bit after, or?
This time, I think we managed to release at the same day with .NET 8, with the release date. We knew ahead of time when it was going to be, and we managed to ship it very quickly this time.
Kudos! That's awesome. That's a big
for a
accomplishment.
change.
Yeah.
That's the first time. Back in the day was not so easy.
Yeah, that's
this
amazing.
time we were prepared.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of having the previews and the release candidates is that like
Yes.
you're getting close to a stable launch and like open source projects like yours can benefit from that and test their projects. Like I own the .NET website, and we also like test the releases every month. So that is like we're making sure that we like basic functionality is not breaking as well. So yeah, thank you for working on this project and testing out as well. All right, there's more
I
questions.
think Blazor being open source, yeah.
No, finish, please finish.
I just wanted to say that Blazor being open source is a tremendous help for us maintainers, because we can just look at the source and see how things are supposed to work. And being a developer, I appreciate very much that I'm working for a framework that is also open source, and I can see the ins and outs of it, how it works, how one is supposed to use the APIs, and not just try to guess.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Top of it.
So Riddle Time from YouTube is asking, in addition to the demo that we saw and like the documentation website, are there any apps that you could share that are using Radzen, like in production? Anything that we could like look at on our own time or now?
In production, maybe. I don't think I can. We don't have a list, a ready to go list, and I don't think I can. I can't think of anything public from the top of my head. The reason for this is I have an answer ready because we have been asked before. I think at the moment Blazor is mostly used for internal web apps, intranet stuff, the apps that are not public most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this would change a lot with the new rendering modes that Blazor has introduced. Maybe for Blazor hasn't been considered for public website development that much until now, and I think this is one of the reasons there are not so many public web apps using Blazor. We ourselves have been using a Blazor application in production for our internal use since its first public release, and most of our business relies on that application. It's an internal app that basically drives everything. It does payments processing, invoices, and all kinds of stuff. It's made with our components, our implementation. So that's we're confident things will change, and we'll start seeing a lot of new public web applications made with Blazor. There was a new one, but I think I've missed it.
No, it was just Riddle Time was saying that it would consider hybrid Blazor. Yeah, and this component would be a big help.
Yes,
so it's like,
yes. Actually, I think hybrid Blazor has legs, and a lot of our users have implemented our components in hybrid Blazor MAUI applications with success. We have also dabbed a bit in the .NET MAUI stuff. There is our IDE product has support for opening hybrid Blazor apps, and also building and running them in emulators, simulators, depending on the target platform. So I definitely think Microsoft is doing a great job creating full stack application where you can create apps in Blazor that target desktop, mobile devices, and the web. That's amazing.
awesome. Let me see if there are any other, like there's someone that says that it's gonna get your second home, so thanking you, and it's gonna do some research and to implement. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or ask the community, like what is your ask for the people that are watching here?
I think I kind of did miss that one. I'm sorry.
No worries. I was just asking, like, if you have any requests to the viewers in terms of, do you want them to try it out, to give feedback, to contribute? Like, if you could
Yeah,
ask
sure.
them.
Just go try it out. Let us know what you think. Go try it out. Log some issues.
Awesome. Yeah, we do have one other question here. This is really a general one. They're asking,
Yeah.
how secure is Blazor?
How secure is Blazor? Well, I think it covers all the basic, all the requirements. I think it's secure. It depends a lot on the hosting model that you pick. For example, if you pick server-side Blazor, it's everything runs on the server, so that's price level of security on its own. I think some people are maybe a bit scared that WebAssembly Blazor is downloading assemblies and executing them on the customer's browser, but I don't think that's a security issue at all.
Right, I can speak to
And
that. So WebAssembly
yeah.
executes in the same sandbox as JavaScript. So it's
Yeah.
as secure as what JavaScript would be. It's just
It can't format your hard drive, and
right.
it won't steal your emails. No access to that.
And our product is built with security in mind, right? So if you find issues, there is an email that you can report. Like, don't report on the public repos, because if you find security issues, like, there is a special process that you have to follow, because we also don't want to expose things early if you find something. So so yeah, like, it should be pretty secure.
We've got more questions coming in. Better late than never. Thank you, friends. Jose is asking, is Radzen ready for AOT compilation ahead of time?
I'm not quite sure if what the expected behavior is for ahead of time. Is the user asking about, Jose asking about stripping perhaps of code, or what?
Yeah, there's also
The simple answer is yeah.
Well, I was going to say there's recent articles about it, and a lot of open source libraries haven't been historically, because it is a newer effort, and there's a lot of work to be done. So it really depends. It depends on how much your.
In that case, I don't think I can answer at the moment. We will have to make a research and see what's possible and what not. I'm going to keep it as a task for myself to look into this.
The big questions that
Honestly,
library authors should be asking
answer.
themselves is, are they doing reflection? And if they're doing system text JSON serialization, for example, are they using the appropriate APIs that have like the JSON type informations? Those types of things are some of like the low hanging fruit, but then also the furthest reaching. But there are certain ways that you can enable like the flags for evaluating whether or not your library is AOT compatible. I'll drop a link here in the chat so that people can read more about that. Yeah. Let's see. There's more questions coming in. What else we got here? Is any big commerce product currently using these components in real life?
Well, it depends on what big commerce product really is. But again, as I said, most of the customers and the apps are intranet. I don't think any big public application is using our stuff at the moment.
Okay.
That's the honest response.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And Gokhan is asking, what is the advantage of Radzen.Blazor over Next.js or other framework? I have a hunch on what the answer would be. Is that like the same advantage of Blazor is that you don't have to use JavaScript?
Yes, it's the virtue of having C# in your hands is, to me, a big advantage over Next.js and any other JavaScript-based framework. I think C# has provides a lot of benefit for productivity, and those are. I've done a lot of JavaScript development myself, and have an opinion on it, but I definitely think C# is a lot better for making business applications as quickly as possible. Provides a lot of features out of the box. The .NET frameworks has tons of existing functionality that you don't have to search as an npm package and include in your app. So that's my take on this.
Awesome. I, as a Blazor developer, concur. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
All right. If we let us know if you still have more questions, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I think I covered most of the stuff. The
It's okay,
component library, I've shown you the GitHub repo.
Yeah, we can finish
Ooh.
a few minutes early.
I would gladly answer.
We do have a good question that just came in.
Yeah.
This is a fun one.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have lazy loading of dependency libraries? Like it was in Silverlight.
For whatever reason, I've missed completely the Silverlight development.
I did too.
So I don't really know if this compares. But lazy loading, the component library itself does not implement lazy loading of dependencies. But it doesn't have that many dependencies itself. It depends only on I think the stuff that's already provided. The web it has maybe one external dependency, the dynamic link open source library. I think that's probably the only third-party dependency it has. Everything else is Blazor itself.
Awesome. And then
so I think the dependencies, yeah.
There, a viewer on Twitch is saying that if you run Blazor server, all the dependencies are loaded on the server. So it depends really on the modality, right?
Yes, but the dependencies of Radzen.Blazor are the dependencies that your application has to begin with. Is the Blazor component themselves, the built-in stuff.
Awesome.
I personally learn a lot. Like I haven't used components, so I really like it. Thank you for coming on the show and showing us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I want to thank all our viewers for being here today with us. We will have, I think, another Blazor show coming up. We have Andrew Epure talking about how the Blazor ecosystem is more mature than ever and how Sonar helps to create like clean Razor code. So that's next week. So join us again. Thank you for watching. You can check out other live streams that we already had on dotnet.net/live. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, friends. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.